Mheshimiwa Spika. Na ndio maana mimi napigia upatu hii bill ambayo imeletwa na ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Oluoch kuwa hii mitaa ya mabanda na elimu ya msingi watoto wa mabanda lazima waangaliwe vizuri, wapewe equal rights kama watoto wengine wa Kenya, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa amesema mambo ya zoning, mimi nasema toka baba afe tunateseka, lakini Mungu yuko na sisi. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Hayo mambo ya zoning ni kama inawasumbua, lakini sisi tutashughulika na ya Oluoch na ya watoto wa kule Mathare, wa Kibira. Hayo ndio yameletwa katika bunge na Mheshimiwa Oluoch leo. Mheshimiwa Didmas Baraza, mbunge wa Kimilili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Let me first begin by thanking the Member of Parliament for Mathare, the Honorable Wakili Anthony Oluoch. Madam Speaker, the reason why we are elected by Kenyans is to identify public problems.
Order, members. Is it because of zoning that the whole zone? I mean, this zoning seems to be very problematic because the whole row on my left is extremely loud. Please consult in lower tones about this zoning so that we can do the business of today. Please proceed.
I think, Madam Speaker, they are consulting on high note because that law is unconstitutional. There are more ladies than men, and maybe we should also try to think about going forward. Madam Speaker.
The of order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is the Honourable Member in order to suggest that Honourable Jalas, Honourable Elisha, Honourable, who is this? Azio Mutuse? Fabian, Honourable Anthony and the Oundo and the rest are women. Are you in order? Because it says majority are women, but the women are only 3. So if the majority are women, then it means all these people here are women. Is it in order to imply that the men in the house are women? Or does he have a problem with his eyes? I know he's wearing glasses, but Madam Speaker, you can help him so that he can have better vision.
Member for Kimilili, that is a very serious matter. So what did you see that made you decide that all those members that have been mentioned by name, by the leader, minority side. What is your comment on that?
I didn't say parliament, I said the row. The row means from where Fabian is to where the district member from Rusinga Island. So that is what on a right note, Madam Speaker. Nonetheless, Madam Speaker, let me come back to the business of that are before us. That I want to say that the reason why leaders are elected is to identify public problems and provide solutions so that the people should not continue suffering, Madam Speaker. Honorable Anthony Oluoch has established that indeed there is a problem where Kenyans who happen to come from informal settlement have nowhere to access better education, and that they have improvised the areas where they come from by identifying spaces where they call schools. Madam Speaker, we live in a country where everybody understands that education is an equalizer of the society. And I will be willing to improve this bill so that those children can no longer continue to suffer. Because we cannot introduce divisions in education, Madam Speaker, where we say that those who can afford better learning institutions, fully funded by government, supported by government, continues to do so, but those who come from informal settlement, who cannot access those good schools, but they have improvised structures where they call schools that will continue to legitimize where they sit and learn, Madam Speaker. That is not the way to go, Madam Speaker. The same way this country has evolved, When I was growing up, Madam Speaker, there was no single tarmac in Rusinga Island. But today, if you go to Rusinga Island, there is tarmac. I am optimistic that those informal settlements, where the young people have no access to proper education, that a time will come, those informal settlements will be eliminated and the better schools will be put up, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we need to continue having a conversation. While we are aware that those students cannot access the better primary schools, Madam Speaker, but can the government of Kenya provide transport? Can we therefore say that every single morning we provide the BRT systems provided for in informal settlement, where those young people can board those BRT, can get buses, be taken to schools that are far from where they are, Madam Speaker. We cannot continue allowing them, saying that they can continue to learn from where they are learning. There are only two pathways to higher learning in this country, Madam Speaker. One pathway is to follow the government, the CBC system, where they are enrolled in ECDE, then they go to comprehensive primary schools, then they go to senior secondary schools, then they can go to the university, Madam Speaker. The other way is to follow the British system, the international system, the international curriculum system, Madam Speaker, where they go even up to Form 6, or whichever way it's called, Madam Speaker. But we cannot introduce another system that is parallel to the existing system, Madam Speaker. Those APEC schools, the one that Honorable Anthony Oloch want to regularize, they have no teachers. The teachers who are teaching there, some of them are not qualified as per the specifications of, that one has to satisfy to be for him or her to be a teacher in this school, Madam Speaker. Number two, the space doesn't qualify to be called a school. So we cannot continue disadvantaging those students, disadvantaging those children of Kenya, that because the proper school is far from wherever they are. An alternative means of transport must be provided to transport these students from their home, from their informal settlement, to a place where they will compete favorably and equitably to the rest of the students in Kenya, Madam Speaker. We cannot continue to allow certain children of Kenya go to purchase the education in proper schools, in proper public schools that are well funded by government, where the government has provided proper infrastructure and support for them to learn, Madam Speaker. And then we have others whom we are trying to regularize, that we regularize and recognize the Mabati space that they are learning and they are calling school, that they should continue learning from those institutions, Madam Speaker. We will be creating divisions. We will be creating classes within the learning fraternity, Madam Speaker. All we need to do is we must improve this bill and compel the government either to build proper schools within those informal settlements or provide a free means of transport where these children can be carried every day from morning and in the evening to proper schools, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know that the role of government is to provide solutions to public problems. These public problems can also be provided. A solution can be provided in a structured manner, not in a manner that you accept that, yes, these students, they have a right to learn. And they are learning from makeshift structures. They are learning from classrooms that don't even meet qualifications of being classrooms. As a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, this bill must be improved to include closing down all those institutions that are called learning institutions, but they don't meet the qualifications. And those learners should be taken to schools, to institutions that are properly constituted, that have got the proper facilities, so that we do not continue to disadvantage the children of our country going forward, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, lastly, in the same manner, we usually change very many laws in this country. The government always brings in this house what we call omnibus bills to change very many things. All those laws must be anchored, must be premised on the need to provide solutions for the very many existing public problems. Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate and laud Honorable Member for Mathare for coming up with this bill. I will sit down with the Honorable Member for Mathare to refine this bill to ensure that no part of this country has her children marginalized because of where they come from, or rather because of the economic status of their parent. I support this bill, Madam Speaker, of course with amendments. I support.
Thank you. The Honorable Phyllis Bato, member for Moiben.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to make my contribution and to thank the Member of Parliament for bringing, Honorable Anthony Olwach, for bringing this amendment to the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, I was one of those people who were not very supportive of this bill at the beginning when it came to the Education Committee, until we went round some of the schools in Kibra constituency, and I became a convert. Madam Speaker, education, basic education is very important to every child. And it shouldn't matter where the capitation or the support by government gets a student, whether in private, whether in public, whether in informal settlement, and so on. The most important thing is the value for this money to that particular student. Is it going to transform the life of that student to get better education? That should be the question. So it doesn't matter where you are, where you are schooling, but the most important thing is that is this education which is inculcated in you making meaning? Is it improving your life? Is it transforming your life? And so on. So I support this bill. However, it shouldn't be that government is going to start supporting private enterprises, that I decide today as Mheshimiwa Barto, go to a slum, identify a niche, and I decide this is where I want to put up a school so that I can benefit from government.